Hello, it's Camille from the Hedberg Public Library's Children's Room, and I'm here with you again today to play with Roblox Studio. Today we are going to create a few scripts in Roblox, and we'll talk a little bit about what scripts are in just a moment. If you are brand new to Roblox and you want to know a little bit more about what the Roblox craze is, you can watch a video that premiered on Hedberg Public Library's website on October 22nd, and it is called What is Roblox? So I talk a little bit about setting up an account in that video, and especially for younger children, Roblox is intentionally a social platform. There's a huge community of users, and so in my video I talk about some of the safety features that you have some control of when you set up your account, as well as a little bit about what Roblox does to help keep people safe in their community. And then I also created a video that premiered on November 17th called Roblox Studio Make an Obby, and I talk about how Roblox is an incredibly educational and creative platform. If you are using the studio part of the platform, it is where all the games are made. So all of the games on the Roblox platform are made by users themselves. So I introduced Roblox Studio in that last video premiering on November 17th. I introduced the building features, and we made an obstacle course, or an obby. And today we are going to take that obby and we are going to add some scripts, or we are going to create some code for that obby. So you can catch up by watching that last video, Make an Obby, if you want to go ahead and learn a little bit about the scripting today. And once you're there, you can join me and we can add some code. So when you're there, let's get started. So scripting is how you program things to happen in Roblox. So I like using a Lego analogy. So we learned how to use the building blocks in Legos of Roblox last week. So if you remember, go up here, we added parts right here, different shapes, block, sphere, wedge, and cylinder, to our template to create our obstacle course. And then we learned how to move them here and to scale them, make them bigger and smaller, and to rotate them. And then we also learned how to change their color over here, appearance, color, and their material. And also we learned about transparency. So those are the building blocks to actually make those parts do things when the games go live. That is what we need to learn how to program. So we call those scripts. So we are going to think about the scripts as small sets of instructions that are attached to each part that tell them what to do when the game goes live. So grown-ups watching, we are not going to start with like step one of learning Lua programming, which is Lua is the programming language that Roblox uses. We are going to take some scripts, attach them to parts, watch what happens, and then change things in those scripts and see what happens. So we are going to learn by experimenting. And honestly, this is out of my comfort zone, but this is really how kids are learning computational thinking and programming these days. That it is an iterative process, and failure is part of that process. And through trying different things and failing, and then trying something else and it succeeding, that is how they are growing. And honestly, it's fun. Like I said, it's out of my comfort zone. It is really how we learn a lot of things these days. Like when we get our new iPhone, right? We don't sit down. Most of us don't sit down and read an actual instruction manual. You learn by trying different things. And so that is how we are going to learn scripting. Okay, so we are back in our game that we created last time, and we are going to create a script for a part to make that part basically kill our avatar. We're going to make it have damage 100, which is the maximum number of hit points that your player can accumulate, I guess, in Roblox. So I'm going to choose this first block right here. Remember, you can go up here and hit select, and it lets you choose the different parts. There we go. There. So I'm going to choose this hot pink one, and I'm going to go over here to the Explorer window, and you can see the parts that I've clicked is highlighted, right? It is blue. I'm going to click on the plus, and it expands the part, and I find script here associated with that part. So when I click on that, it opens up a script, and I'm going to delete what is here, and then I'm going to type in our new script that is going to make this block deadly. All right, so you will learn when you're scripting or doing any kind of programming that you have to type the words exactly as they should be to make the script work. So it's one of the reasons that we start programming with younger children with like block-based programs, so they learn the ideas behind computational thinking and programming before needing to necessarily worry about syntax. So we have to type these words exactly as you will see I'm doing here, and I'm not going to put one space there. And I will make sure that in this video it is large enough for you to read. And you'll see it's recognizing some of the words. It's not spelled right. And the spaces are important too. They have to be right where I show you they go. Yep, that's capitalized. Find first child. Then humanoid. Take damage 100. And end. All right, and there's our script. So I'm going to click to close out the script. I can click here, it saves it, and then I'm going to play test my Obby. So remember how to do that. You click play. And here comes my character. There she is. I also learned from my daughter that when I have this halo around me, I can't die. So we wait for that halo to go away and see what happens, see if my script works. Oh, worked right away. So we're in our game and we're going to add some parts, some killer parts, I guess, to our game. I clearly don't want this first jump to result in the end of the game, right? So I'm going to remove the script that we put in there, and I'm going to play some different parts in my game that I'm going to have to avoid when I'm playing my obstacle course. All right, so I'm going to show you some tips and tricks for adding parts more quickly and for copying scripts to different parts. So we're going to copy this script. I'm going to go into there. This is the script that's in my hot pink block. I'm going to highlight it just like you would in any other word processing program, and hit Control C or Command C if you're on a Mac, right? And I'm going to get out of there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to move in a little bit here. I'm going to add a part to my pink piece that is going to be red and that I will have to avoid. So another useful tip that I'm not sure I shared with you in my previous video is if you click on a part and you hit Control D, it duplicates the part. All right, so now I have this part, and I'm going to move it down. I'm going to put it on top of my part, and I want to shrink it down. I want to shrink it in this direction. Oops, now notice I'm still on move, so I have to hit scale and move it this direction. I also want to shrink it down in this direction, okay? And notice how it goes pretty thin. I want to show you what I had to do. So if I go to model, and if you see here move, it's on 0.2 studs. Yours is probably set to 1 stud. That is the unit of measurement in Roblox, that it's, I think, the default. And if you remember to that gray base plate that we started with, each of those little, they looked like Lego studs. That was 1 stud unit of measure. So we can change the snap, which is when you're moving parts around and trying to glide things close to each other. You can move that snap to be lower in number. So I can move it to 0.2, and that just gives you, it allows you to move in smaller increments. 0.2 stud versus, see how it kind of snaps when I'm moving it? The amount of snap is decreased when it's at 0.2. I'll go back to 1 stud so you can see what I'm talking about a little better. Now it's 1. So when I'm moving it, it jumps 1 stud. All right. And so if you're trying to shrink things to be super thin, you're going to want to shrink that. So I'm going to leave this down to 0.2 studs. All right. So now I'm also going to go into the script for this part. So if I'm going to select this part, make sure I'm selecting it, double click, click on script, and it has the script from our base plate, okay? I'm also going to change the color because I want to see what I'm avoiding. Then I'm going to hit Control D again and duplicate that part again. All right, so now I've got like a narrow path I need to walk through, and let's just double check the script. It's there. Perfect. So I'm also going to click on my main part here, my big pink part, and I'm going to highlight that and backspace and delete that because I don't want that part to have the script. All right. So now let's go to play again. All right, let's go home, hit play test. And make sure this works. So I should be able to jump onto the pink and avoid the red. All right, let's try it out. I'm trying to learn to use WASD. There we go, for movement. All right, let's go. Okay, I'm still learning WASD, clearly. Let's resume. You also understand how simple I have to make my games. All right, let's try again. All right, forward, 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 jump. All right, and I didn't die here, but if I turn this direction, boom, hooray, success. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a bunch of parts and pieces to my game. I'll fast forward through that. You can watch if you want, slow it down if you want to see what I've done, but you can go ahead and do the same, and then I'll come back and play my game once again and see if I made it easy enough for me to get back to my M&Ms. right, so I told you we were going to see if I could actually make it to the end to get the candy. I added, you can see, I've got some dangerous parts in there. So let's see if my game is something that I can play. All right. All right. All right, now this is the tricky part because these dangerous posts, oh, can get me from any direction. You're probably wondering why on earth I jumped like that. I don't know. All right, let's try it again. Which way to go, right? All right, here we go. All right, I skipped one. See, I'm getting good at this. Oh! All right, I will give you one more try, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to edit my game a little bit to make it a little bit easier. Or practice. I'm using my left hand on WASD, trying to play the game the right way, and I probably could switch that around. I probably could switch. Oh! I don't know. I don't know how people do it. If they're not left-handed, how do you play? How do you jump with your needing to use the space bar to jump, right? Ugh, I hit it again. All right, well, you've got the idea. I'm going to go back in and edit, and maybe in my next video, I will show you. Here, let's go ahead. I'm going to make myself bigger here. See if I can do that. Here we go. There. All right. Not only am I learning how to use to do things in Roblox, but I'm using this fun screen recording software too. So I'm going to make another video, and we're going to do a different kind of game in January. So after the new year, between now and then, you can go ahead and edit your obstacle course and add some fun and dangerous red parts. And I will provide some information in the info section of the YouTube video about some YouTube channels that I found to be really helpful for learning to use Roblox and specifically for learning scripting. So, all right, thanks for joining me again, and I'm really wanting some M&Ms, so I'm off to try and play and create a game that I can get to the end. So, all right, thanks for joining me.